Hello everyone, my name is Luke Morningstar and I made this interview with Kojo like 1 year ago. Yeah, I took a long while and I'm sorry about that. During this video, I will say a lot about even the interview with Nick, who was working on this project until some months ago. But after a little while, I decided to not include him, and he knows about that because I don't know the struggles about this project. He didn't told me so, and I don't want to push something that maybe it could hurt him or something like that. So for a while, at least, I won't publish that interview, or maybe it will be forever. Um, so yeah, in this video before Nick left the project, me and Kojo probably will say me and Nick will do. I decided to do the interview with Nick, but it will not be included in this video. What else to say? Before the interview starts, I would like to say thank you to Kojo for the amount of time he spent with me talking during the interview, and even I'm sorry about the long wait and the little accident about the second part of the interview because my PC decided to broke down and corrupt the audio. Yes, what a beautiful thing. What else to say if not support the project with the Discord server. If you don't know about the game, you will find the group in the description, the channel and everything. If you want to support this channel, you can subscribe and leave a like. If you don't want, don't worry, I will not be mad. With this said, we can jump on and I can leave you be to the interview. Enjoy and have a good day. Hello, everyone. My name is Luke Morningstar, but it's not important. The important part is that I am doing the interview to Kojo, Mr. Kojo, the founder, the creator, with Nick for the project Miside Zero. Hello.
Hello there. Hey, Luke. You don't have to call me Mister. Don't worry, I make me feel old. I'm only 21, so.
Okay, okay. This is the interview, and as you can see later, it's gonna be like both in Italian and both in English, because me and Nick are Italian, so we could understand each other with our native language, and don't worry if you don't understand during the video, because I will put subtitle up so you can all understand what we are saying, and we can start with the interview. So, are you ready?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for accepting my request. I thought, like I said to Nick, I thought you wouldn't answer me, so I was like, nah. What they said yes. What is going on?
Well, geez, how cool do people think I am? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I know that there's a lot of misconceptions around, like, big developers or even like developers of smaller projects, like just not accepting interviews and stuff like that, or being cold towards their community because they have a game to develop. But I think that's a little bit unjust. I want my community to feel appreciated, and so does Nick. So we try our best to be kind to our community, respond to all messages. Once the project gets bigger enough, we might have to close our DMs, but we'll still try and take as many messages as we can. So
Respect for you and Nick. It's not often that I see this type of thing. So respect for you, guys. Donate them $1 million each because they deserve them.
Oh, come on, we haven't even released anything yet. I mean, we're going to release soon, but we're already running a little bit behind just because, I've got school and Nick's going on vacation, so it's,
I I can only imagine because even I will start school soon, and I'm already like oh my god, how the fuck I'm gonna record doing live and then editing, and then it's gonna be hard. I wanna die. But let's not talk about it, and
yeah,
instead,
let's not talk about school. I already have to worry about it enough.
yeah, yeah. Uh, so let's start with the first question. That from where and how the project started. Miside Zero, from where it come from?
On to how MSZ started, My Side Zero started. To be honest, it's a little bit funny because it started back like around the time that Miside released. I played through it the first time, and I'm not going to lie. The first time I played through it, I was convinced that it was an amazing game. Even though for half of the game I was screaming at the player character to react to something, to do something in scenarios, but he just
Run,
felt.
moron! You have to run, moron! You have to run. So something that I often say during my video, and
Yeah,
so
don't get me.
something.
Yeah, it's like, I felt like I was yelling at him to do something rather than actually inputting the thing to make him do the thing I wanted him to do, if that makes any sense. Basically, it's like, I guess the way I was thinking about it from a gameplay perspective is when you're playing a video game, you want to be able to play as the player, not be railroaded into a decision. That's what Meat Side kind of was about, was being railroaded into a single linear path, or rather three different endings, which all have the same result: die, die, or die later. So
Well,
it all, yeah,
it's about die by a girl, suicide, or stay alive for a bit, but probably you will die because of the girl. So
exactly.
yeah, it's like a life metaphor, you know. We all die no matter what. It's something
Yep.
funny.
It was just a crazy meta show too. It was like once I started playing through it again and again, I started realizing with each passing playthrough that the game was flawed in a way. I still props to Making Cat and Umirai for making the game. I still think the game is very well mechanically done. It's got a feat of dedication considering the devs worked like 2-3 years on it. The main issue I have with it is there's a lot of bugs. The game isn't very friendly to anybody who wants to mod it. And the story leaves a lot to left be desire. I think that the premise behind it is beautiful, which is why I started making My Side Zero. I saw the premise of the story and was like, holy crap, why didn't they do more with this? There could be so much done with this. After looking into it enough, it was because they stated that they were rushed. Um, once they said they were rushed by the publishers. Another time they said they were rushed by their community, which doesn't make much sense. And some
GTA say is here like for 14 years. There are players that say I will die before I see GTA 6, and the Rockstar doesn't give a fuck. I mean,
yeah,
something extra. So sometimes I do like this. Don't worry, you can go. You can keep going.
no, it's fun. I appreciate the comments. But yeah, I mean, there's also a rumor floating around that it's just because they wanted to release a game and make money off of it, especially because this was their first time getting marketed by a large studio, IndieArc, so maybe they actually had the pressure of a release date behind them. But looking at a lot, actually, I won't talk about iHosta. We're not here to talk about iHosta unless you want to ask me questions about that. I'll just keep on going about My Side Zero's origins. The point is, I saw vision. I saw a premise that didn't receive an ounce of its full potential. So I thought, you know what? I kind of want to do something with this. I was already feeling kind of crappy during winter. So I was like, you know what? Why not occupy my time and write a stupid little fan fiction about my side to keep myself busy? I started writing, and I had like some first thoughts of what My Side Zero should be. Originally, it was actually called My Side Alpha, um, and we can talk about the plot of that if you'd like sometime. But as for My Side Zero's original plot, I started writing it in around December, like around Christmas time, and I kept writing it until about January when I finished the first cut of My Side Zero and was like, huh, this actually isn't so bad. Why is this actually kind of good for a fan fiction I wrote in a really short amount of time? So I decided to rewrite it again, and then I realized after that rewrite that it was actually better than some of my main stories. Um, I do like to write stories for fun in real life. My actual profession or career is going to be an engineer, but I love writing stories, and I've got plenty of stories written. Even got some copyrighted. I just haven't published them yet. But I wrote My Side Zero story, and I was like, wow, this is better than some of my actual stories. So I decided to give it another rewrite while I was like relearning some Unity stuff just to see what if I could do what I could do. And then after the third rewrite, I read my own story, and this was about in like March or April, and I was like, wow, this is one of the best stories I've ever written. So even though if it was just starting off as like a fan fiction, I figured it could be way much more than that. So I started relearning some of my game development from high school, from middle school. I started to learn C sharp, and especially once classes let out for the summer, I started working, several hours a day on My Side Zero to learn the code, to learn Unity, and just to learn all the ins and outs of game development and really start working on My Side Zero. Um, that's technically the end of the origin story, but yeah, if there's any other questions you have, feel free to ask me.
You know that what I think that most of the time fans often reach a point where the developer never did or the creators never did, and
Yeah,
I often think that it's funny because maybe or the developer never did that because they thought it won't be good as we think, or maybe the fans are I don't know, maybe not better at writing, but maybe can have a lot of imagination extra because they don't have any restriction. Because
yeah,
you and Nick, the only restriction you have is to say that your game is fan made, and
exactly.
I don't know if you have of course the bugs, the glitches, the time where the game doesn't start, they
Oh
can be
God, yeah.
they could be a restriction, but for the game to come out earlier. But for the rest, I don't think you have a restriction that you could have if you work on with iHasto or whatever developers they have.
Yeah.
About and this is something I asked Nick too, but he didn't answer me because he said it was maybe a spoiler for the story. So
Oh boy.
I will ask again. But if you say it's too much for the story because you will maybe understand something, it's a spoiler. You can even say that, and we move on to another question. I won't press on it because I can understand you want to keep the secrets, the hype. I can understand.
Yeah, because story mode. The thing is I like what I always tell the people. Like I say several things to the people who are excited for my game. The first one is that I'm not a game developer. I'm a storyteller. So I'm going to do my job storytelling. And My Side Zero is not meant to be told to you. I could tell you the story, but I'd rather people play it. The whole principle of, story writing or animation or really any creative design is you always want to show, not tell. So that's what I'm trying to do with this. I'd rather people play, experience, and show people the story that I've written rather than just tell it to them as words on a page or words out of my mouth.
In Miside, the real one, we had the interaction with other metas, no? Uh, in the game, in Miside Zero, we have the same interaction, like we can pass through dimension, version, and everything, or it's gonna be something different.
While I cannot reveal the way that My Side Zero will play out in terms of that, I can confirm that you will interact with the metas that, like, at the very least, some of the metas that you have encountered in regular Me Side. In My Side Zero, I the way that I've set things up is, especially for story mode, I can't say the exact length of story mode, but the interaction with the metas that you will meet is like at least doubled, with the exception of one meta. So
Don't tell me you will put the scary meta we meet at the end, please. Have mercy on me. I got jump scared so bad. I lost my heart. Allora secchio. Suck.
yeah, yeah. I No, as for her, as for the Meta at the end, I call her original Meta. So does most of the My Side Zero community. Um, but original Meta, she used to be my favorite Meta at a point. And I'm not going to lie, when I first encountered her, I wasn't thinking, "Oh my God, she's so scary." I thought she's kind of cute, honestly. So I don't know. I'm just weird, man.
The other question I asked to Nick was about the customization of the main character. Uh,
Yeah.
I will refer him as Zero because
Yep.
he is called like that. During the
Yep.
game, when we start, can we like change the name of it? Or it's gonna be one name that could be Zero, could be Marcus, could be Battle of Water, and it's gonna be set because you decide to, or it's gonna be like a personal change of the player, like in the original game.
So there's actually an interesting trait about My Side Zero, and that is Zero is known by two names. He's known by his real name and by his screen name. Zero is his canon screen name. Um, but as for his screen name, I've thought about giving people the ability to change it and put whatever they want, so they can still have that customization, like inputting a username. But his real name stays fixed, and if any character calls him by his real name, then it's like forced. You're basically forced to be called that real name, essentially. I've also thought about not having it entirely, just because I think that Zero is a set in stone character. So, and My Side Zero is a serious enough story that you don't want to name your character something like Penis Master 69, and then like the metas are calling you that during a sad or serious scene. So
Well, I mean, it's gonna be fun for the first minute.
oh yeah, that's why I've also thought about making it so you can change it on your second playthrough, but like keep it locked to the first playthrough, so the first playthrough remains serious. I don't know. I still haven't really decided how I'm going to do that system, but the point is Zero is a set in stone character. He's not some blank slate like the original game's character is. Another thing that I should also mention, because you mentioned customization, I don't know if this is another question you had, but Zero's appearance can be customized. I think his like base appearance will remain the same, but there are outfits for the player that you can unlock in My Side Zero.
I was gonna ask this, but the thing I wanted to ask, because I read the fact that you the question and answer you and Nick made about the outfits. We will unlock them during I don't know the entire story. Maybe when we completed one specific part, they will unlock the special outfit, or maybe we have to find it during the playthrough, or maybe with I don't know if it's there are gonna be mini game like in the original one. You complete one level at max stars and you get the customization, one outfit themed about that game or something like that.
Mhm. So yeah, I mean, as somebody who plays games myself, I want to encourage exploration because we plan on redesigning basically every single map that isn't a Meta house in
Yeah.
my
Oh, so
side,
sorry.
bro. No, 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 it's
Yeah.
okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
yeah, so um, if you say for instance the dummy level, um, let's say you were to wander around it for enough, you could like find a place where if you explored inside of like, an abandoned locker, you'd find like an outfit for a Mita. And then like if you were to do something else in the story, like, go through Tiny's level a certain amount of times, it would give you an outfit. Another thing is that you can also find like things just as you're playing through the story, like completing the story with a specific ending can grant you an outfit or a thing. So there's just a lot of exploration to be done. As for mini games, we don't know what we'll do with the arcade mini games because we don't see how they fit into the lore besides just fun things for players to do. And don't get me wrong, we like fun things for the players to do, but slapping a freaking like car racing mini game when you've just been chased by the embodiment of death and evil in that world, it doesn't exactly
Yeah.
fit, you know. Um,
Yeah, at the start of the game when Crazy Mita started to chase you before we met Cappy, and when you started to play the arcade game before you meet Kind Mita, and she actually will have an interaction that will say, "What the fuck is wrong with you? The world is gonna end and you play arcade games. What the fuck?"
it's funny
Yeah.
because if you actually play the arcade game after talking to her, then she like says, "Oh yeah, I played that game before." Like they aren't being hunted down. Yeah, I mean this. Apparently, the player from Miside doesn't have the time to spend with all the Mitas that are suffering and alone, but he has time to fuck around on the video game consoles. I guess. Good going, guys.
Well, I mean, we we gamers have important things to do. The film is a loss of time. I mean, the think about Andrew Tate. I mean, better think about games. Don't worry.
Yeah, stupid tiny little.
For the game itself, no. Uh, when the official version will come out, will it gonna be a paid version or it's gonna be completely free?
That's a great question. So, the version that we're going to release very soon, like I don't know, today's August 24th. We're planning to release the alpha, which is separate from the story mode that I've talked about. In like by the time that August ends, at least for our supporters and for our translators. Um, but yeah, we're trying to get that out, and the alpha is just Nick and I testing, game development stuff. It's just us playing around with mechanics and me finishing up all the core mechanics for My Side Zero, so that way we can reuse them in the actual My Side Zero and maybe improve some stuff before too. But so yeah, the alpha is just going to be like Cappy's level, right? Or like, the beginning where you're just spending time with Crazy Mita, or like Mila's
Yeah,
level where it's,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
When
just
when you spend time there, I think, what the fuck am I doing here?
just imagine that, but with you playing as Zero and you're just spending time with Kind Mita. We intend on maybe adding more Mitas if we have the time to do so, but our main focus will obviously be story mode. Um, Yeah, we want to add more metas because I love all the metas. I know Nick's favorite is Mila. I don't know how he feels about the other metas. So for the alpha, I'm you don't have to beep this out, but all I will say is September 3rd is Zero's birthday in the game. So that's all I'll say. As for the story mode though, because that's what we're really interested in, right? So I don't know how this semester is going to go because it looks pretty tough for me. Just the classes look hard and whatnot. But I'm planning on trying to release something like, early 2026 for a story mode demo. We might be able to complete that sooner because of the way I've set the systems up and Nick's extreme skill and dedication to animation, modeling, etc. But there's still a lot to do because we're not just going to, steal assets from base my side and throw them into our game. No, no, no. We have some guy making soundtracks. I usually make more sound effects. I rewrite all the code. The only stuff that we really take from the base game is like the models and the textures of the props. Most of the meta textures and models, while they are based off of the original ones, Nick has done some retopology on them. He's re-rigged them for proper animation. I've retextured them to give them more personality as well. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's we try and make it as original as possible without losing sight of the original material. Um, so one thing that's going to slow us down, especially at the beginning, is we're going to make Zero's apartment as an entire playable level. So that's one thing. But
I
yeah,
I talked about this like then 10 seconds ago. Zero is the character that we meet with the main character at chapter 3 or 4. I don't remember
I think
correctly.
it's five. Yeah.
I don't know. We met him. We had the interaction with him for like 1 minute at max. If you wanted to hear all he wanted to say, this maybe it will spoil the story, but I will ask anyway.
Mhm.
W- During the gameplay of maybe story mode or whatever, can we actually see this interaction again, but in the eyes of Zero, or it's gonna be cut, or it won't be there?
On one, I'm not going to say it directly because it's a giant spoiler. Well, okay, but okay. So one thing, on one hand, I should say I have changed the lore for My Side Zero drastically. There's a lot changed just to make it make more sense and to make the story more entertaining and engaging, as well as more emotionally impactful. But it does the events still somewhat line up because the events of My Side Zero take place 1 year before the events of Miside take place. So, and a lot can happen in a year. That's all I'm gonna say. As for viewing that specific interaction, I can't reveal whether it will actually happen in the game, but I can say that that it is technically linked, at least in the canon ending.
So the other question was
Mm.
when this project started. I mean, when it started, you start to code the first version and everything, and I will add this for the models itself. How much time it took for you to recreate or download and everything?
Okay, so let me think. I mostly started experimenting with like Unity and stuff around February, but that was mostly me just relearning everything. It wasn't really any serious design. February, March was just me playing around, and I was still rewriting the story. So my focus was on writing and well, schoolwork. Most of the February, March, and a little bit of April was just me learning and playing around with Blender and Unity. Then in like when is it? Then around like April or May, that's when I started working a little more seriously on the project because I started to not get as busy with classes. Um, and I made the Discord server. Some people, so it was like small. It was only like 50 people. But it was still nice because I liked the community, and people seemed excited for the project. So I was still working on it. And around May is when, maybe it was May, maybe it was June. I don't remember. Time flies, man. But it was around that time when Nick asked to join the project, and that's when I started really working much harder. Um, the first time, funnily enough, I actually declined the Nick's offer because I wanted to work on the project completely by myself. But later, like, I don't know, like a week later, Nick and I were talking, and he was talking about how he didn't feel like he could do much with his animation, and I felt like I was going to get overwhelmed with work, animating and stuff like that. So we both teamed up and decided, you know what, we can make each other's lives a little bit easier. And then in like May, June, July, and now August, we worked very hard together, and we were able to make this demo, which is basically already done, within like 4 months. We basically recreated most of Miside's mechanics and more within 4 months. So
Will there be like I don't know, some kind of copyrighted music, or it's gonna be completely copyright free? Because I'm scared that YouTube will start like to say, oh my god, you played that game, it had that music, you suck, you don't have the permission. So just to ask for for even the people that maybe wants to play the game on live, or doing videos on that.
yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. Our soundtracks are going to be completely remade for my side zero. While they do carry the same like tone and some and like for the meta themes, they'll be like similar to the base games. We've changed them enough to the point where we can kind of call them our own remixes, our own work. So if you were to play them in a YouTube video or on a stream, then it wouldn't give you any copyright strikes.
Yeah,
Um,
I can get the money.
Another thing I also wanted to mention is that we plan on adding more tracks than just the meta themes and stuff like that. We want to add like different other cinematic tracks, and those will also be copyright free as well. So,
Yeah, I can play it freely. Yes.
oh, and yeah, speaking of price, I don't know if this was obvious or not, but as a fan game, the game's going to be completely free. So,
But don't worry, guys. If you want to contribute with this game, maybe like I don't know, even a donation of €1. So to me, it's €1. To him, it's $1, or whatever your money value is. Maybe we will make the link down in the description, or you will find it in the Discord server, and I will keep the link down below. Of course, if you are seeing this video, probably you are already in, but for the new people that aren't inside the server, if they want to add to get inside, you can. Now I will ask the most important question, okay?
yep,
Can we run inside this game?
run, of course. I mean, I designed an entire.
Yes!
È una roba incredibile.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone so much.
I designed
Yes!
it. Okay, listen. I designed an entire movement system, right? So it doesn't only like allow you to run in basically every part of the game, but it doesn't break immersion either. So your character is not entering a full sprint while you're just like walking around with kind meta. What happens is, depending on the emotional state and everything, different actions change. The breathing rate changes, your blink speed changes, your default expression changes, your posture and walking method changes. When you press the crouch key, it will either, sometimes it'll just make you walk slower, or it will make you actually crouch down low. And then when you press shift, it'll either make you speed walk or sprint, depending on the situation. So if let's say you're in a safe level, for example, um, if you press shift, you'll just speed walk. It'll still make you move faster than walking speed, but it's not going to make you burst into a full sprint. Whereas if you're in a dangerous area and you press sprint, you'll burst into a full sprint. If you press crouch in a safe area, you'll just make your walking slower. It'll go from your default walk into more of a slow, relaxed walk, and then in like danger zones, if you press the crouch key, you'll actually duck down and crouch. So
Yes, we can run. We can skip some annoying part, like you know when you are there, you have to wait and you have to, like, I don't know, run in cycle, and you have to walk to go to
oh
one point
god,
to another,
yep,
and you spend like
yep.
2 minutes to walk. We
Fun
can
fact:
run.
I also added jumping, and later in levels you'll be able to climb areas. So
You know that I will probably spam sprint più jump, and keep going like that, because for maybe speed running the game. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you could. If some people might be able to parkour their way up certain areas and like find some crazy glitches to any percent speed run the game. So
But will there be like a stamina system? Like if you run, there are a stamina, and when it ends, you start to like walk. Maybe there will be like the breath system that say, "Oh my God, I'm tired," and everything, or
I
it's
can't.
or
I've
it won't
thought of
be.
putting a I've thought of putting a sprint system in, or a stamina system in. I don't know how much we'll need it though. I feel like it would just be more limiting than anything. So if I had to put in a stamina system, I would have it enable only for parts where that stamina system would be required. So if people needed to sprint through the entire game, they could. Whereas then the stamina would activate when they reached the part that required a stamina or required you to manage your sprint. But if anything, if push comes to shove, I'll just make it so that way if you sprint, it makes your footsteps louder, and if there's something chasing you or sniffing you out, then it'll make it hear you better. So
Okay, so I can keep spamming running. Yes.
yep.
I got 3 other questions that I already know the answer, which is quite but okay. First things first, another question that came out in my mind during this time is that on the game we can interact with other metas, no? Like Cappy, Mila, and so on. But maybe some like, I don't know, Life is Strange. We can have like a reputation with them. Maybe one see us as a friend, other hates us, other wants to kill ourselves in other method. Very cool.
It's interesting you say that, because that's actually a system I planned to have in story mode. Obviously, in the alpha, it's not going to happen, but in story mode, considering that's what we're talking about, um, that's the thing that's planned, a reputation system, or like affection system with every meta and character. That is a thing that exists, and I wanted to implement it. It's fairly easy to implement. I have the framework for it already set up. I just need to make story mode.
I mean, because it could be like something that will make sense, because if we can interact with other metas, and like not having the same level of affection might be, I don't know, maybe cooler or something, because understand that maybe I don't know. Let's take Nick. He doesn't like Cappy, and of course, when he meets Cappy, he will say, "Go fuck yourself." Instead, when
Sure.
he meets Mila, he will say, "Oh my God, my queen! I will kneel whenever you go, my queen. Tell me what to do." I mean, having some kind of reputation that maybe will go influence the story. Maybe I don't the ending. I don't think it could be maybe.
No, that's a valid point. I won't spoil anything, but I will say that your impact on the world matters. Like what you do throughout the game will affect what happens throughout the game, either in small or in larger ways. Um, so, like if you were to, I mean, if you've ever heard of the butterfly effect, the smallest flap of a butterfly's wing can generate a storm. That's a saying. Um, yeah, that's kind of what it is here. Like, if you do something early on, something that might be seen as rather trivial or small, it can have an effect later in the game, and it might have an effect as early as, like a couple steps later in that game. It might have an effect all the way near the end. It could be as small as just changing one dialogue line, or it could be as big as, making it so you have a new ending to be able to be unlocked.
Okay. I mean, it's cool because I can it because I would like to. Nick told me something to say to you because he chatted with me now. He said, "Stop jerking off on Nekomata."
I'm going to kick Nick's ass.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
You know that I will probably leave this on the recording because I wanted to show you what's going on between you two. Of course, for not safe for work content,
Oh
maybe they
no.
already asked and all. Because
Yeah,
maybe the
I'm.
people think about sex and like, oh my god, I will fuck them, but it goes way deeper, like killing, blood, organs, bad things that I cannot say because I will get demonetized. But
Yeah. As for NSFW content, typically when people think of NSFW, they think of anything sexual, and like while there will be innuendos, which is like references to it, and just because it is still an adult style game, there will be references to it. It's not something that you can entirely avoid, but I'm not gonna like we're not adding direct sex into the game, so that's not happening. Um, Whereas with gore and heavy topics, such as things that I don't want to say at the risk of demonetizing Luke, um, yes, those are present in the game, and you will. There's a disclaimer at the beginning of story mode that's said that will essentially sum everything up, but the disclaimer kind of goes like, story has themes of this story has dark themes and graphic depictions of violence. If you are sensitive to this material, I strongly advise against playing this game. So
yeah, I mean, because most people think that not safe for work is sex, but
yeah,
on the definition is yes, there is sex because it's sexual material, which is plus 18, but
yeah,
at the same time there is like blood, organs, and knowing Crazy Nita, which we should remind that she cut off half of Mila, but hey, that's some detail, and yeah. So it's gonna be present. So of course I have to like limitize on my stream because who thinks about the children? We will think about the children. And Nick had to
another because of course he's talking to me meanwhile. He says,
Yeah.
"Tell to Kojo to suck my balls."
I'm going to like put this kid in an oven. I swear. I'm gonna.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. Got no.
For story mode, we're planning to add a lot of new locations to explore and make the world feel less boxed in and a little more open and just more non-Euclidean in some places. So just like more strange. I want to give players the feeling that they're stepping into an entirely new, unfamiliar world as opposed to just a box in some hallways. And I understand that that's like the original Miside tries to elicit the feeling of getting boxed in. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but either way, I feel like for a game that is pretending that is rumored to be infinite, the original Miside lacks in that regard of trying to elicit the feeling of being infinite and just makes you feel like you're railroaded or boxed in at some point. So I wanted to try and give the feeling of being larger than it actually is. So
Yeah, I can imagine it's quite hard because you aren't working on an open world, which you can say, okay, I will do like I don't know a chunk of that with where it is the where there is this and another chunk where there is that. It's like a four floor maybe I don't know a one single place which is quite harder to make. Feel infinite, so I can imagine how maybe you struggle and all.
yeah, it's it's tiring, but it's nothing I can't handle. Nothing Nick and I can't try and handle. So
Yeah, I imagine you and Nick like I don't know going to the night screaming and like crying because it's not working something or you try something it doesn't work, you struggle, bugs over glitches and like you think why the fuck I decided to do this.
I mean, 90% of development is just trying to figure out why the shit you did isn't working. So that's it's not fun at all, but it's necessary in order to try and create a game for your community. So
It doesn't give much, but it's a fairy job.
yeah, it ain't much, but it's honest work. So
So yeah,
yeah.
we can leave this sleepy Kojo going. If you wanna say bye to the public,
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys watching and being invested in the project. So I wish I could publish it sooner, but you know how things get. Yeah, thank you guys for your support. Take care, all right? And thank you, Luke, for having me on.
I must thank you for not only the other interview but even this because it
Yeah, no
got
problem.
corrupted at the end. I screamed. I wanted to destroy everything. It
Hmm.
was pretty sad, but I mean we can say bye to the public. Thanks guys for watching this interview. If you wanna subscribe to the channel, okay. If you don't wanna because I'm Italian and all, that's fine. I mean it's okay. I mean I can understand it. If you wanna support the project, you can find the link down below of the Discord. But if you are seeing this, it's gonna be probably from the Discord server. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you all for watching. Take care.